What if everything you know about your life is a lie? What if the world around you, the sky, the trees, the very ground beneath your feet, is not your home, but your cell? What if that deep, unexplained feeling of not belonging, of longing for something you can't name, is not a mental flaw, but a memory of a freedom you once had before you were placed here? Ancient secret societies knew it. Modern philosophers have hinted at it, and the evidence is hidden in plain sight in our own bodies and minds. This is not a science fiction story. This is the prison planet theory, and it may be the most important truth you will ever hear. For as long as humans have looked at the night sky, questions about our origin have haunted us. Where did we come from? Why are we here? And why do so many of us feel as though something about our existence is profoundly out of place? Among the many theories about human origins, one stands apart in its boldness and controversy. It is called the prison planet theory. This idea suggests that humanity, or at least our distant ancestors, did not evolve naturally on Earth at all. Instead, we were either transported here from elsewhere, or genetically engineered by extraterrestrial beings. According to the more radical versions of the theory, Earth was chosen as a cosmic penal colony, a place of exile for unwanted or dangerous beings from other worlds. Mainstream science dismisses this as fantasy, but to many, the anomalies of human biology and behavior suggest otherwise. Unlike other animals, humans appear strangely maladapted to their environment. We are vulnerable to sunlight, prone to illness, and beset by emotional and psychological distress. We have an unshakable fascination with the stars, as if remembering a home we can no longer reach. A world that feels unfamiliar. When we compare ourselves to other species, something curious emerges. Most animals seem perfectly at home on Earth. Wolves thrive in forests, camels survive in deserts, birds cross oceans guided by magnetic fields. Their bodies and instincts align with the environments they inhabit. Humans, by contrast, appear fragile, almost mismatched to the conditions of this planet. We require clothing to regulate temperature, artificial shelters to survive in extreme climates, and technology to grow and store food. While adaptability is often praised as a uniquely human strength, it can also be seen as a weakness. Unlike wild animals, we cannot simply live as we are. We must constantly modify our surroundings just to survive. Some theorists argue that this is precisely the kind of evidence that supports the prison planet theory. They believe our bodies were designed or adapted for another world with a different climate, atmosphere, and gravitational pull. Earth, they argue, is not where we belong. Signs that humans are not native to Earth. Chronic illness and fragile health. Illness is a near constant feature of human life. From minor ailments such as colds, allergies, and headaches to chronic conditions like autoimmune disorders and cancer, our species suffers a level of health fragility not seen in most animals. Wild animals typically die from predation, accidents, or old age, not from chronic disease. Humans also exhibit unusual sensitivities. Many cannot withstand long exposure to the sun without burning. Others develop seasonal affective disorder during winter months, a condition where the lack of sunlight causes depression and fatigue. Such patterns suggest that our bodies are not entirely in harmony with Earth's cycles. The problem of back pain. Almost every adult experiences back pain at some point in life. This affliction is so widespread that it is sometimes called the human condition. Evolutionary biologists attribute it to the stress of walking upright on two legs, but some researchers, such as Dr. Ellis, argue that this points to a deeper issue. If our skeletons evolved in lower gravity, our spines would not struggle under Earth's constant pull. The persistent discomfort, then, could be a lingering sign that our bodies were not designed for this world. The 25-hour body clock. Our internal rhythms also present a puzzle. When deprived of external time cues, human beings naturally fall into a cycle of about 25 hours, not Earth's 24-hour rotation. The discrepancy may seem small, but it raises a profound question. Why would a species that supposedly evolved here not align perfectly with the planet's day? Some suggest our original homeworld may have rotated more slowly and that our bodies have not yet fully adapted to Earth's shorter cycle. Dangerous childbirth. Human childbirth is far more complicated and dangerous than in other animals. For much of history, maternal death was common, and even today, it remains a significant risk. Human infants are born unusually helpless compared to other species, requiring years of care before independence. This vulnerability is often explained by the evolutionary trade-off between brain size and pelvic width, but some theorists propose another explanation. Our reproductive system was not meant for Earth's gravity or environment, and what we consider normal may in fact be the consequence of dislocation. The mystery of DNA. Human DNA carries mysteries still unsolved by science. In 2001, researchers found that humans possess 223 unique genes not shared with any other organism on Earth. Though many scientists attribute this to natural processes, others see it as a clue to extraterrestrial involvement. Large segments of our DNA are also labeled junk, with no clear function. Some wonder if this is not useless material, but a hidden code, fragments of an ancient blueprint left by those who created or modified us. The psychology of alienation. If physical evidence hints that we do not belong, psychological evidence deepens the mystery. Humans are the only species known to suffer chronic existential crises. We struggle with depression, anxiety, and feelings of isolation. Our intelligence allows us to build civilizations, yet also drives us to war, environmental destruction, and self-annihilation. This inner conflict leads many to feel a profound sense of alienation, as if life on Earth is fundamentally mismatched with who we are. Some interpret this as proof that our minds, like our bodies, are out of place. Perhaps we carry within us the memory of another home, another way of being that makes us restless here. Earth as a prison. The idea of Earth as a prison for humanity is not only provocative, it resonates deeply with themes found throughout human culture. When societies across the world developed their own myths, many of them described humanity as fallen, exiled, or punished. From Adam and Eve being cast out of Eden to the Titans imprisoned in Tartarus, the theme of banishment is one of the oldest in our stories. The prison planet theory suggests that these myths may not be symbolic at all, but distant echoes of a real event. According to this view, Earth was chosen as a penal colony by an advanced extraterrestrial race. At some point in deep antiquity, unwanted members of their society, whether criminals, rebels, or failed experiments, were transported here and left to survive. This explanation casts human behavior in a new light. Our aggression, our violence, and our endless cycles of conflict may not be accidental quirks of evolution. They may be inherited traits, passed down from a population that was already troublesome to their original civilization. Humanity's darker impulses, war, greed, betrayal, could be the very reason we were sent here in the first place. The comparison with earthly penal colonies is striking. The British Empire, for example, once transported prisoners to faraway lands such as Australia, hoping to isolate them from society while still giving them the chance to survive. Some of those prisoners adapted and even thrived, eventually forming new nations. Could humanity be the galactic equivalent, a population of exiles who adapted to their prison world, building civilizations and cultures while still carrying the scars of banishment? What makes this idea even more compelling is the sense of alienation so many people report. We often describe life itself as a kind of prison filled with suffering and struggle. Philosophers across the ages have asked why existence feels so heavy, so burdensome. The prison planet theory offers one startling answer. Perhaps it feels this way because, on some level, it is true. The struggle of the human body. If humans were placed on Earth rather than evolved here, our bodies should carry the marks of this dislocation. And indeed, when studied closely, our physiology seems to reveal just that. Back pain is perhaps the clearest example. Nearly every human experiences it, from farmers in fields to office workers at desks. The structure of the human spine is fragile, prone to herniation, misalignment, and degeneration. Scientists often explain this as the cost of bipedalism, but some researchers argue that the issue goes deeper. If we had developed under conditions of lower gravity, our spines would face far less stress. On Earth, however, they are crushed under a weight they were not designed to bear. Childbirth is another striking anomaly. In most animals, birth is a natural and relatively safe process. For humans, it is one of the riskiest moments of life. Babies are born with unusually large heads relative to their mother's birth canals. For millennia, this mismatch led to countless deaths. Even now, with modern medicine, childbirth remains dangerous compared to other species. Was this flaw a result of hasty genetic engineering, or was it the result of being forced to reproduce in an environment our physiology was never meant for? Then there is our vulnerability to sunlight. While many animals thrive under the sun, humans are easily harmed by it. Prolonged exposure leads to burns, dehydration, or skin cancer. Our eyes are also sensitive, requiring us to squint or shade them. In contrast, many other creatures live comfortably in direct sunlight without harm. Some researchers suggest that our skin was originally adapted for a planet with a weaker sun, perhaps orbiting a dimmer star. Illness, too, seems to plague us disproportionately. Allergies, autoimmune disorders, and chronic conditions are nearly universal. In contrast, wild animals rarely experience such constant suffering unless injured or elderly. While modern lifestyles certainly contribute to poor health, the widespread vulnerability suggests a deeper problem. Could it be that Earth's microbes, pollens, and bacteria are simply not compatible with our biology? If we were brought here, our immune systems may have never been meant to face this planet's environment. Taken together, these physical challenges paint a picture of a species awkwardly adapted, as though we were transplanted into conditions that do not quite fit. The 25-hour mystery. Time itself offers another clue. Human circadian rhythms, when left unadjusted by clocks and social schedules, run slightly longer than Earth's day. In controlled experiments, people living without external time cues naturally fell into cycles closer to 25 hours. Why should this be? If we evolved here, our bodies should be perfectly synchronized to Earth's 24-hour rotation. Instead, we live slightly out of step with the planet. Some theorists argue this is evidence that our true homeworld rotated more slowly. If our ancestors once lived on a planet with a 25-hour day, their internal clocks may still carry the imprint of that environment. This discrepancy is subtle but profound. It suggests that, deep within our biology, we are calibrated for another world. While Earth has forced us to adapt, we still carry the shadow of our original timing, a reminder that our bodies were tuned elsewhere. DNA, the code of exile. The greatest mystery of all lies within our very cells. The human genome contains puzzles that continue to baffle scientists. Among the most striking is the presence of 223 genes that appear to have no known origin on Earth. While mainstream explanations point to horizontal gene transfer from microorganisms, others see this as possible evidence of intervention. Then there is the enigma of so-called junk DNA. Vast portions of our genome serve no apparent purpose, at least according to current knowledge. Some theorists suggest this junk could be dormant code, an encrypted record of our past, waiting for the right key to unlock it. If our DNA was altered or spliced by extraterrestrial engineers, these sections could be remnants of their blueprint. If true, this would mean that humanity is not a purely natural species at all, but a hybrid creation. Our close genetic relationship to primates may reflect that we were engineered from their stock, but the unexplained sequences hint at something more, an infusion of alien material that makes us what we are. Such a possibility would revolutionize everything we know about our history. It would explain why we are so different from the rest of the animal kingdom, why we alone build civilizations and ponder the cosmos. We may not simply be products of earthly evolution, but the outcome of a deliberate design, created to serve a purpose we no longer remember. Myths of exile and punishment. Across nearly every culture on Earth, myths carry an echo of separation, exile, or punishment from a higher realm. These stories are not isolated coincidences, but recurring motifs that appear with striking consistency. They may be the preserved memories of our distant past, encoded in the oral traditions of early humanity. The story of Eden is perhaps the most famous. Adam and Eve, once living in a paradise where pain, toil, and suffering were unknown, are cast out into a harsh world as punishment for disobedience. Humanity's condition of labor, childbirth pain, and mortality is explained as the direct result of exile. What if this story was not metaphor but memory, a distorted account of our ancestors' banishment to Earth? Greek mythology carries a similar theme. The Titans, an older race of beings, were overthrown by the Olympians and imprisoned in Tartarus, a deep dark pit beneath the earth. The very idea of gods locking away troublesome beings resonates with the concept of a galactic civilization exiling disruptive elements to a prison world. The myths of Prometheus, who defied the gods and was punished, reflect again the cycle of rebellion, punishment, and suffering. In Mesopotamian texts, the Anunnaki gods are described as beings who created and ruled over humanity. Some interpretations suggest they engineered humans as workers, bound to toil on Earth as servants. Whether these tales are literal or symbolic, they repeat the motif of humans being subjected to control, limitation, and exile. Even in Norse mythology, there is the story of Loki, a chaotic trickster figure who repeatedly defies the gods until he is bound in chains deep beneath the earth. His punishment is eternal, and his struggles mirror the sense of imprisonment felt in the prison planet theory. The consistency of these myths across cultures suggests they may stem from a shared truth. Our ancestors, scattered across continents, spoke of being cast out, punished, or placed into confinement by higher powers. If Earth truly is a prison, then our myths may be the faded recollections of that exile, passed down through generations until they became stories of gods and heroes. The architecture of control. If Earth is indeed a prison, then there must also be systems of control that ensure the inmates remain where they are. Some theorists propose that these mechanisms are subtle, embedded within both our biology and our environment. One such mechanism is forgetfulness. Unlike most species, humans are born helpless and dependent, taking years to grow before reaching independence. During this time, our memories of early life are wiped clean, infantile amnesia. What if this is not merely a quirk of neurology, but a built-in mechanism to prevent us from remembering where we came from before Earth? Dreams and altered states of consciousness may also hint at constraints placed on the human mind. In dreams, people often experience strange landscapes, unknown places, or visions of flight and freedom, only to awaken and forget. Some traditions interpret dreams as glimpses into other realities, worlds we are cut off from while imprisoned here. Language, too, may be part of the architecture of control. Humanity is divided into thousands of languages, dialects, and writing systems, ensuring that knowledge is fragmented and unity is difficult to achieve. If we were engineered, this fragmentation may have been deliberate, preventing us from organizing effectively or challenging our conditions. Finally, there is the question of mortality itself. Death comes quickly and often brutally to humans. Unlike the long-lived gods of myth or the supposedly advanced alien beings of modern accounts, our lives are fleeting. This brevity keeps humanity focused on survival and reproduction rather than higher exploration. In a prison system, short lifespans would ensure the population remains manageable, with little chance for individuals to accumulate too much knowledge or power. Taken together, these mechanisms suggest a form of subtle governance. The inmates of Earth's prison are not bound by walls or chains, but by the very limits of their own biology, language, and memory. The control is invisible, but no less effective. The Great Amnesia. One of the most striking features of humanity is how little we remember of our own origins. Civilizations rise and fall, knowledge is gained and lost, and vast stretches of our past remain mysterious. Archaeologists can only reconstruct fragments, yet myths consistently hint at an earlier time when humans lived differently, sometimes in harmony with gods or higher beings. This loss of memory is unusual. Many species inherit instinctual knowledge. Migratory birds know their routes. Bees know how to build hives. Humans, however, must painstakingly relearn almost everything each generation. Agriculture, medicine, astronomy, all have been rediscovered, lost, and rediscovered again. It is as if we were deliberately left without a roadmap. Some theorists suggest this is by design. If an advanced civilization exiled humans to Earth, wiping their memories would be essential. Prisoners who remember their homeworld or their former power might resist or attempt to return. By erasing that memory, our captors ensured that we would accept our new condition as natural. This great amnesia may also explain the endless human search for origins. From the earliest myths to modern science, we are obsessed with where we came from. We build religions, philosophies, and scientific models, all aimed at reconstructing our beginnings. Perhaps this drive is not random curiosity, but a symptom of exile, a subconscious attempt to remember what was taken from us. The very act of storytelling, of passing myths through generations, may be our way of preserving scraps of forbidden history. And yet, those fragments are always incomplete, distorted, or symbolic, leaving us forever searching for a truth just beyond our grasp. The moon as a watchtower. If Earth is a prison, then surely there must be watchtowers to keep an eye on the inmates. Many theorists point to the moon as exactly that. The moon is unique in several ways. It is unusually large relative to Earth, almost a twin rather than a satellite. Its orbit is nearly perfect, and it always shows the same face, as though positioned deliberately. Some scientists argue this is the result of natural processes, but others suggest it may be evidence of artificial placement. Throughout history, the moon has been linked with mystery and control. Ancient cultures described it as a source of influence over minds, emotions, and even fertility. In modern times, conspiracies abound about lunar bases, hidden structures, and unexplained anomalies in NASA's photographs. What if the moon was not merely a natural satellite, but a constructed observation post? From such a vantage point, any advanced civilization could monitor Earth's population, ensuring that the inmates remain confined. The constant presence of the moon in our sky would serve as both surveillance and psychological reminder, an eye watching over humanity. Even stranger are the accounts of astronauts who reported odd experiences during lunar missions. Some spoke of feeling observed, of strange lights or echoes that defied explanation. These could be dismissed as psychological effects, but within the prison planet framework, they take on new meaning. The moon may not only be watching us, it may be part of the very system keeping us here. The weight of gravity. Among the most compelling arguments for the prison planet theory is the simple fact that humans seem to struggle with Earth's gravity. Unlike most animals, our bodies appear fragile and prone to breakdown. Back pain, joint deterioration, varicose veins, hernias, these are so widespread among humans that they are considered normal. Yet they are signs of a body under stress. In comparison, wild animals show remarkable resilience in their skeletal structures. They age, yes, but they rarely collapse under the weight of their own bodies. Why is it that our species, supposedly native to Earth, suffers in this way? Some researchers suggest that Earth's gravity is too strong for us. If our ancestors evolved on a planet with lower gravity, their physiology would have been perfectly suited to that environment but maladapted once transported here. Our height also plays a role. Humans stand taller than most primates and balance on two legs. Under weaker gravity, this design might have been ideal, allowing for greater visibility, speed, and perhaps even extended cranial development. But on Earth, gravity constantly pulls us downward, compressing the spine, straining muscles, and exhausting energy. Astronauts offer a unique perspective. In microgravity, the human body relaxes. The spine elongates, joints decompress, and many of the pains of daily life vanish. Yet over long periods, the absence of gravity causes muscles to atrophy and bones to weaken. This suggests that humans may be caught in between, a species neither perfectly suited for Earth's gravity nor designed to live without it entirely. If Earth is a prison, then its gravity may be part of the sentence, a constant force binding us to the ground, ensuring we do not take flight too easily. The enigma of human infancy. One of the most striking peculiarities of human biology is the helplessness of our infants. Unlike most animals, who can walk, swim, or fly within hours of birth, human babies are utterly dependent. They require years of nurturing before they can survive independently. This is often explained by the size of the human brain. Our large heads make prolonged gestation impossible, forcing early birth. But what if this is only part of the story? If humans were engineered, as some theories suggest, then the fragility of our offspring might have been intentional. A species whose young require constant care is a species that remains tied to its environment, unable to migrate easily or rebel. In other words, human infancy ensures that families are anchored, populations remain rooted, and the cycle of dependence continues. Another dimension to consider is emotional bonding. Human infants cry not only for food or protection, but for contact, warmth, and reassurance. This creates powerful emotional ties between parents and children, ties that structure society itself. In a prison system, such bonds could be used to ensure order and continuity. Families keep each other grounded, distracted from the possibility of escape. From this perspective, human infancy is not a weakness, but a feature of the system. It guarantees that humans invest enormous time and energy in each new generation, leaving little left over for questioning the bigger picture. Language as a double-edged sword. Language is humanity's greatest tool, yet it may also be our greatest chain. With language, we create civilizations, transmit knowledge, and build technologies, but language also divides. Thousands of languages exist, many mutually unintelligible. This fragmentation makes global unity difficult, often impossible. Wars have been fought not only over borders, but over words, interpretations, and mistranslations. If humans were placed on Earth as exiles, the division of language could have been intentional. By preventing clear communication across populations, those who designed the system ensured that no single rebellion could unite all of humanity. Every culture would develop in isolation, creating unique myths, values, and goals. Even deeper is the question of whether language itself limits thought. Some linguists suggest that the structure of a language shapes the way its speakers perceive reality. In this sense, our very minds may be confined by the languages we inherit, locked into specific patterns of thought that prevent us from seeing beyond the prison walls. The story of the Tower of Babel from the Bible may be more than myth. Humanity, united by one tongue, sought to reach the heavens. The gods punished them by scattering their speech, ensuring division. If this account has any basis in truth, it reflects the same theme. Language is not just communication, but control. Memory, dreams, and the hidden mind. Another strange feature of human existence is the mystery of memory. We forget vast portions of our lives. We dream vividly, only to wake with fragments slipping away. Our subconscious is a deep ocean, where most of our mind's processes remain hidden. Why should this be so? Animals remember what they need. Migratory birds know routes across continents. Salmon recall the streams of their birth. Yet humans forget names, dates, and even important lessons. Worse, we forget collectively. Entire civilizations vanish from memory, leaving archaeologists to guess at their existence. Dreams add to the puzzle. Many report dreams of flying, of being in strange cities or alien landscapes, of meeting beings who do not belong to Earth. Some dismiss these as imagination. Others see them as fragments of another life, a reality we once knew but can no longer access. Could dreams be echoes of our forgotten origin? Could memory loss itself be part of the design, a veil drawn over our true past? Some traditions claim that souls are reborn, each time forgetting what came before. If this is true, then the prison system is deeper than biology. It extends to consciousness itself. The forgetting is the lock. Dreams are the cracks in that lock, offering fleeting glimpses of the truth. Signs in the stars. Humanity's fascination with the stars is one of our most enduring traits. From the earliest cave paintings to the latest space telescopes, we have looked upward, searching for meaning. But why? No other species on Earth cares for the stars. Animals orient by them, yes, but they do not wonder. They do not build monuments aligned with solstices, nor craft stories of gods who descend from the heavens. Humanity alone is restless, always yearning to leave the Earth behind. This longing may be more than curiosity. It may be a memory deep in our collective unconscious. Perhaps we once lived among the stars, and our exile to Earth left us with an unshakable homesickness. The heavens call to us not because they are unknown, but because they are familiar. The great monuments of antiquity seem to reinforce this idea. The pyramids of Egypt, aligned with Orion's belt, the temples of Central America, tracking Venus and the sun, the megaliths of Britain, marking solstices and equinoxes. These were not random constructions, but deliberate attempts to connect Earth with the cosmos. Even today, humanity pours billions into space exploration, despite pressing problems on Earth. We reach for the stars with rockets, probes, and telescopes, as though trying to return to where we belong. Perhaps our greatest technological achievements are not progress, but memory, an instinctive drive to escape the prison walls. The pain of the body. Human existence is marked by pain in ways that seem unusual for a species supposedly adapted to its environment. While pain has evolutionary value as a warning system, the sheer range of chronic suffering in human life appears excessive. Arthritis, migraines, dental decay, autoimmune disorders, these are not occasional conditions, but widespread afflictions. Even the healthiest among us endure recurring discomforts, from the weariness of fatigue to the aches of aging joints. Unlike wild animals, who generally live free of chronic illness until their final years, humans seem condemned to a lifetime of medical struggles. Consider teeth. They decay, break, and misalign with alarming frequency. Most animals never require dentistry, yet for humans, it is a near necessity. Why should this be, unless our mouths are poorly adapted to the foods of Earth? Consider skin. It burns easily under sunlight, cracks in dryness, and suffers endless conditions from eczema to infections. Other animals thrive in direct sunlight or adapt effortlessly to harsh climates. Humans, meanwhile, require clothing, shelter, and ointments simply to manage their fragile skin. Some researchers suggest these frailties point to mismatched evolution. If our ancestors developed in a different environment, under gentler sunlight, less gravity, or with different atmospheric compositions, our current biological struggles may simply be side effects of exile. Perhaps the prison was designed this way, a place where life is possible, but never comfortable. The loneliness of the mind. Beyond physical pain lies psychological suffering. Humans are uniquely burdened with anxiety, depression, and existential despair. We create art, music, and philosophy in response to these feelings, but the underlying distress never disappears. Animals rarely display anything comparable. They may fear predators or mourn losses, but they do not appear to question the meaning of their existence. Humans, however, cannot escape such questions. Why are we here? What is our purpose? Why do we die? These are not luxuries of thought, but burdens, haunting us from youth to old age. Suicide is perhaps the most disturbing symptom. No other species deliberately seeks death on the scale humans do. The act suggests a profound alienation from life itself, as though the environment is hostile not just to our bodies, but to our minds. Some theorists argue this alienation reflects our exile. We are homesick not just for another place, but for another state of being. Our restlessness, our inability to be satisfied, may be echoes of a lost freedom. Religions attempt to soothe this loneliness, promising reunion with the divine, return to paradise, or escape from the cycle of suffering. In each case, the promise is the same. Earth is not the end. Earth is not home. Diseases of a prison world. One of the strongest arguments for human exile is the endless list of diseases that plague us. Malaria, tuberculosis, cancer, influenza, autoimmune conditions. Our species lives under constant biological assault. While other animals have predators, parasites, or occasional plagues, humans endure an overwhelming variety of afflictions that weaken body and spirit. Some illnesses are linked to viruses that insert their DNA into our own, altering us across generations. Others are the result of genetic mutations that provide no benefit, only suffering. Could these be the result of tampering? If humans were engineered, it is possible that flaws were introduced deliberately, weaknesses to keep us dependent, vulnerable, and easily managed. The junk DNA in our genome, often cited as meaningless, may also play a role. If portions of our genetic code were shut off or scrambled, it could explain why our immune systems are both overactive and underprepared. Allergies, autoimmune disorders, and sensitivities may all be signs of a damaged blueprint. Even aging itself can be seen as a disease. Unlike some organisms that regenerate or repair indefinitely, humans are programmed to decline. Cells accumulate errors, organs fail, and death comes inevitably. In a prison system, this built-in timer would ensure that no one lives long enough to uncover the truth of their condition. The prison of time. Time is perhaps the most subtle form of confinement. Humans live short lives compared to the span of history. Civilizations rise and fall within a handful of generations, leaving each era struggling to rebuild knowledge lost by its predecessors. This brevity creates a cycle of ignorance. No individual can see more than a small portion of the whole. We inherit fragments of the past, but never the complete story. Like inmates in a vast system, we live and die before we can understand the full design of the prison. The strangeness of time goes deeper. Our natural circadian rhythm runs closer to 25 hours than 24, suggesting misalignment with Earth's rotation. Some theorists suggest this is evidence that we originated on a planet with longer days. If so, then every human life is lived slightly out of sync, always adjusting, never quite at home. Our obsession with clocks, calendars, and history may be attempts to master a force that eludes us. But time remains the ultimate boundary. No one escapes it, no one breaks free. It is the invisible wall of our prison. Forbidden knowledge and hidden history. If Earth is a prison, then the greatest secret must be the knowledge of our own origins. And indeed, history shows repeated patterns of knowledge being lost, suppressed, or hidden. Great libraries have burned. The Library of Alexandria, the Mayan codices, the scrolls of countless temples and monasteries. Advanced civilizations appear to have existed, leaving behind megaliths and unexplained technologies, only for their knowledge to vanish. Even today, discoveries that challenge mainstream narratives often meet resistance. Artifacts that do not fit the accepted timeline are dismissed as hoaxes. Alternative theories of history are marginalized. The gatekeepers of knowledge, whether scientific or political, ensure that only certain versions of the past survive. This pattern resembles the censorship one would expect in a prison. The inmates are not allowed to know where they came from, nor are they permitted to access the tools that might help them escape. What remains are fragments, enough to stir curiosity, but not enough to break the illusion. Perhaps this is why myths of a lost golden age appear everywhere. Atlantis, Lemuria, Shambhala, names for civilizations that supposedly possessed knowledge beyond our own, only to be destroyed or hidden. The memory of freedom lingers, even if the details are lost. The restlessness of humanity. Humanity is defined not only by suffering, but by restlessness. We are never content for long. Unlike most species, which adapt and settle into ecological niches, humans constantly push outward, exploring, migrating, inventing, and questioning. Why are we so driven to move, to change, to create? Dogs are content with loyalty, cats with territory, birds with migration. Humans, however, are endlessly dissatisfied. We cross oceans, climb mountains, launch satellites, and dream of colonizing Mars. This relentless motion is not a mere curiosity. It feels like a symptom of displacement. Perhaps we are restless because, deep down, we know we do not belong here. The forests, deserts, and oceans are beautiful, but they do not satisfy us. We pave them over, reshape them, and constantly search for something beyond. Unlike other animals, we seem to rebel against the natural order, as if the earth itself cannot hold us comfortably. Our greatest works, art, music, philosophy, science, are attempts to transcend our prison. A painting is a window to another world. A song is a voice breaking through silence. A spacecraft is a key testing the lock of our confinement. Restlessness is not a flaw. It is the echo of a memory that we once were free. The evidence in our myths of stars. Every culture on Earth, from the ancient Egyptians to the Polynesians, placed enormous significance on the stars. Constellations became maps, calendars, and stories. But beyond practical uses, the stars carried deeper meaning. They were seen as homes of the gods, the birthplace of souls, or the path of return after death. Why should humans instinctively connect their destiny with the heavens? Why not worship only the earth that sustains us? Consider the Dogon people of Mali, who preserved knowledge of the Sirius star system long before modern telescopes confirmed it. Their traditions describe beings who came from Sirius, teaching humanity. Were these myths symbolic, or were they echoes of real contact, reminders of where we came from before exile? The pyramids of Giza align with Orion. Stonehenge maps the solstices. The Mayan temples track Venus with extraordinary precision. These monuments are not just cultural achievements, they are messages carved in stone. They seem to say, "Look to the stars, this is where the truth lies." The prison planet theory suggests that these obsessions are not random. They are the fingerprints of memory, subconscious attempts to reconnect with our origin among the stars. Even after millennia, even after amnesia, humanity cannot stop pointing upward. The genetic puzzle. Perhaps the strongest case for human exile lies within our DNA. Modern genetics has revealed that the human genome contains mysteries that science cannot fully explain. One study suggested that over 200 human genes appear with no evolutionary precedent, genes not found in any other species on Earth. While some scientists propose horizontal gene transfer as a natural mechanism, others see this as evidence of deliberate intervention. Large portions of our DNA are labeled junk with no known purpose. But what if these are remnants of a different design? Fragments of instructions from another world, scrambled or deactivated during our transfer to Earth. If our captors wished to weaken us, disabling certain genetic functions would have been an efficient method. Even more puzzling is the genetic bottleneck in humanity's past. Around 70,000 years ago, humans nearly went extinct. Our population shrank to a few thousand individuals, yet from this narrow base, we repopulated the planet. Was this near extinction natural? Or was it a reset, a deliberate control measure imposed on the prison population? The genetic record reads like a story, but it is a story with missing pages, altered passages, and unexplained insertions. It hints at an origin not entirely earthly, a design not entirely natural. The curse of aging. All living beings age, but the human experience of aging is especially cruel. We decline in strength and vitality far earlier than seems necessary. By midlife, many already suffer from chronic pain, disease, and memory loss. By old age, the body and mind collapse entirely. Some theorists suggest this is no accident. In nature, certain species display negligible senescence. They do not age in the same way humans do. Some jellyfish, lobsters, and reptiles live for extraordinarily long periods, showing little decline. Yet humans, with all our intelligence, are granted lifespans that feel deliberately limited. If Earth is a prison, aging may be one of its most effective controls. A short lifespan prevents any one individual from accumulating too much wisdom or power. Civilizations must constantly restart, knowledge must constantly be relearned, and the prison cycle continues. Religions often speak of lost immortality, the Garden of Eden, where humans once lived without death, or the golden age of Greek myth, when lifespans were far longer. These stories may not be fantasy, but memory, distorted over time. Aging may not be a natural inevitability, it may be a programmed feature of our imprisonment. The Moon as a machine. The Moon's mysteries deserve further attention. Its orbit is too perfect, its size too precise. It stabilizes Earth's tilt, controls the tides, and influences life in subtle ways. Without the Moon, life as we know it might not exist. But why should such a perfect satellite exist at all? Some researchers have proposed that the Moon may be artificial, or at least artificially modified. Soviet scientists once suggested it might be a hollow body based on strange seismic readings from lunar missions. Astronauts reported that when lunar modules impacted the surface, the Moon rang like a bell, as though it were an engineered shell. If the Moon is artificial, then its purpose must be considered. Could it be a watchtower monitoring the prison below? Could it be a mechanism stabilizing Earth to ensure confinement remains possible? Or could it be a control device subtly influencing human biology and psychology? The Moon has always been linked to madness, lunacy, sleepwalking, strange tides of emotion. Perhaps these are not superstitions, but side effects of a machine designed to keep humanity in place. The pain of childbirth. One of the greatest mysteries of human biology is childbirth. For most species on Earth, birth is a natural process with relatively low risk. But for humans, childbirth is uniquely dangerous. Our infants are born helpless, requiring long periods of care. Mothers often experience extreme pain, tearing, or even death during delivery. Why would evolution design such a flawed system? The human pelvis is narrow, adapted for walking upright, while the human brain is large, requiring a wide skull. The two are in constant conflict, making birth a dangerous compromise. Yet if we were truly native to Earth, natural selection should have refined this balance. Other animals manage the process far more efficiently. Some theorists suggest this problem arises because humans were not originally designed for Earth's gravity or environment. Perhaps our anatomy was modified or transplanted, creating a mismatch. Childbirth may be the biological scar of exile, proof that our bodies were not meant to function here without suffering. Ancient myths support this interpretation. In the book of Genesis, Eve is cursed with painful childbirth as punishment. But what if this curse was not divine punishment, but a memory of genetic tampering or forced adaptation? The story may preserve a truth that human reproduction was altered as part of our confinement. The strange case of human emotions. Humans are defined not only by intelligence, but by intense emotions: love, grief, despair, joy, jealousy. Our inner lives are deeper and more turbulent than most other species. This emotional range is a gift, but it is also a burden. It leads to wars, heartbreaks, depressions, and endless inner conflict. Could emotions be another control mechanism within the prison system? Consider anger. It drives humans into violence, weakening unity. Consider fear. It paralyzes action and keeps people obedient. Consider jealousy. It divides families and societies. While positive emotions exist, the balance seems tilted towards suffering. Religions and philosophies throughout history have tried to control or transcend emotions. Buddhists teach detachment from desire. Stoics teach mastery over fear and grief. These systems may be ancient attempts to resist the prison program, to rise above the emotional chains that bind us. In this light, emotions are not just natural traits, but engineered levers, ensuring humanity remains in conflict with itself. As long as we are prisoners of our own feelings, we cannot escape the larger prison. Alien abduction as prison inspection. Throughout modern history, countless individuals have reported alien abduction experiences. They describe being taken aboard craft, subjected to medical examinations, and returned with little memory. Skeptics dismiss these as dreams or hallucinations, but the sheer consistency of reports across cultures suggests something deeper. From the prison planet perspective, abductions may be inspections, guards checking the inmates, scientists monitoring the experiment. Some abductees report implants, tracking devices, or genetic sampling, precisely what one would expect if the prison population were under constant observation. The cold, clinical manner of these encounters also aligns with the idea that the abductors are not here to nurture humanity, but to maintain control. To keep the prison secure, one must monitor health, reproduction, and psychological stability. If Earth is a prison, then abductions are not random intrusions. They are routine maintenance. Humanity is cataloged, measured, and adjusted, ensuring the system continues to function. Religions as control systems. One of the most striking features of humanity is our obsession with religion. Across time and geography, every culture has developed belief systems centered on gods, punishments, heavens, and hells. Why is this universal? The prison planet theory suggests religion may serve as a management tool. By creating moral codes, fears of eternal punishment, and promises of salvation, religions keep humans orderly. Rather than constant physical enforcement, spiritual control ensures obedience. Consider the concept of hell, a place of torment awaiting those who disobey. This parallels the idea of prison within a prison. The concept of heaven, meanwhile, keeps people docile, hopeful that endurance in this life will be rewarded. Even more telling are the watcher figures in religious texts: angels, demons, jinn, or gods who oversee humanity. These beings resemble prison wardens more than benevolent creators. While many find comfort in religion, its structure mirrors that of a control system designed to keep the prison population compliant. Faith is both a comfort and a leash. Dreams as escape attempts. Every night, humans enter dreams, strange, vivid worlds where the laws of reality shift. Unlike other animals, human dreams often carry symbolism, narratives, and visions of impossible places. Could dreams be more than random brain activity? Some ancient cultures believed dreams were gateways to other worlds, or messages from beyond. Shamans, mystics, and prophets often claimed visions came through dreams. In the prison planet framework, dreams may be temporary escapes, moments when consciousness remembers its freedom. Interestingly, many report flying dreams or visions of traveling through space. These may be echoes of memory, fragments of a time before exile. Lucid dreaming, where individuals gain control within the dream, could represent an attempt by the mind to break free of the prison's constraints. If waking life is the prison, dreams may be the cracks in the walls. The simulation hypothesis and the prison planet. In recent years, philosophers and scientists have suggested that reality itself may be a simulation, a digital environment created by advanced beings. While this idea is modern, it resonates strongly with the prison planet theory. If Earth is a prison, perhaps it is not a physical place at all, but a simulation designed to contain consciousness. The suffering, the limitations, the endless cycles of birth and death could be the features of a controlled program. In this view, alien abductions may be glitches. Near-death experiences may be moments when the simulation falters, and mystical visions may be brief contacts with the outside reality. Whether digital or biological, the essence of the theory remains the same. We are confined. The walls may be physical mountains or lines of code. It does not matter. What matters is that we are trapped within a system not of our choosing. Motives of the jailers. If humanity truly was brought to Earth by an advanced civilization, the biggest question is why? Why create or transplant a species and confine it to a single planet? Several competing hypotheses have emerged, each suggesting a different motive for the jailers or designers of humanity. One possibility is punishment. We are here because we did something, individually or collectively, in another realm or lifetime. Earth, in this view, is a cosmic penal colony, a place where souls or beings who violated the laws of an advanced civilization are sent to be rehabilitated or quarantined. Another possibility is experimentation. Earth may be a laboratory where an alien species studies evolution, consciousness, or genetics under controlled conditions. We are not criminals, but test subjects. Our suffering, conflicts, and growth are data points in a vast, long-term experiment. A third possibility is stewardship. Humanity may not be prisoners, but caretakers, brought here to protect Earth's ecosystems while being kept under watch so that our destructive tendencies do not spill into the cosmos. In this scenario, the prison is more like a training ground or sanctuary. Each motive paints a very different picture of our existence. Are we convicts, lab rats, or trainees? The answer determines not just our origin, but our destiny. The cosmic quarantine hypothesis. One of the most widely discussed grand explanations is the cosmic quarantine hypothesis. According to this view, Earth is isolated from the greater galactic community because humanity is not yet ready to join it. Our violence, immaturity, and unchecked emotions make us a danger to other civilizations. Thus, Earth functions as a kind of quarantine zone. Aliens can observe us, influence us subtly, and ensure we do not escape, but they cannot openly intervene or allow us to leave. This would explain the lack of direct contact with extraterrestrial beings, the so-called Great Silence described by the Fermi paradox. If true, this means humanity is not only imprisoned, but also being given time to evolve. Once we demonstrate maturity, perhaps by overcoming war, greed, and ecological destruction, we may be invited to rejoin the cosmic community. Until then, we remain behind the quarantine wall. Karma and the soul prison theory. Some researchers extend the prison planet theory beyond biology into spirituality. In this model, Earth is not just a physical prison, but a soul prison. Conscious beings from across the universe, or even other dimensions, are captured or lured into reincarnation cycles on Earth. Every time a human dies, the soul is recycled back into a new body, with memories erased but lessons carried forward. This endless cycle ensures we remain within the system, unable to escape or remember our true origins. Religions like Hinduism and Buddhism speak of samsara, the wheel of rebirth, and the need to attain enlightenment to break free. What if these ancient teachings are literal? What if the soul's goal is to graduate from the Earth prison? In this framework, alien overseers are not just physical beings, but metaphysical jailers, maintaining the system that keeps souls bound. Escape requires not technology, but awakening. Genetic engineering for containment. Another grand explanation suggests humans were genetically engineered specifically to be manageable. This idea mirrors what humans do with domesticated animals, breeding them for docility, productivity, or certain traits. In this model, extraterrestrials took a pre-human species, such as Homo erectus, and infused it with their own DNA, creating a hybrid with intelligence, but also limitations. We are smart enough to build civilizations, but prone to conflict, disease, and short lifespans. These limitations act as safeguards, preventing us from becoming too powerful or too self-sufficient. Clues to this theory can be found in our junk DNA, unusual gene clusters, and sudden leaps in cognitive ability compared to earlier hominids. It also explains our fascination with building structures like pyramids, megaliths, and cities, behaviors reminiscent of civilizations elsewhere, perhaps encoded in our genes. If true, humanity is not a failed species, but a deliberately handicapped one. Our potential was restricted by design. Earth as a rehabilitation facility. A softer version of the prison planet theory sees Earth not as a penal colony, but as a rehabilitation center. In this scenario, we are not being punished, but healed. Perhaps our souls or ancestors committed acts of cosmic violence, developed dangerous technologies, or lost their moral compass. Rather than destroy us, an advanced civilization chose to rehabilitate us by placing us in an environment where we could experience growth, struggle, and empathy. Pain and limitation, in this view, are not punishments, but teaching tools. By living through hardship, we develop compassion. By facing mortality, we learn humility. By struggling with conflict, we discover the value of peace. This interpretation transforms the prison from a nightmare into an opportunity. Earth is a school disguised as a cell. The energy harvest theory. Some versions of the prison planet theory are darker. They suggest that humanity was placed on Earth not for rehabilitation or quarantine, but for exploitation. Our emotions, especially fear, anger, and despair, generate energy that can be harvested by non-physical entities. This idea, popularized by some modern conspiracy theorists, sees Earth as a farm where human suffering produces loosh, a subtle energy consumed by higher dimensional beings. Wars, disasters, and constant stress are not accidental but cultivated conditions designed to maximize this harvest. While this may sound far-fetched, it mirrors practices in nature. Humans farm animals for food, energy, and resources. Why would a more advanced species not do the same with us? If correct, the goal of the prison planet is not punishment or training, but consumption. Humanity is not the inmate, but the crop. The inheritance hypothesis. Another possibility is that Earth itself is not a prison, but a proving ground. Humanity was seeded here to inherit something, perhaps the planet itself, or a role in the galactic order. We may be undergoing a test of worthiness. Those who pass, individually or as a species, move on to a higher level of existence. Those who fail repeat the cycle. This aligns with myths of a final judgment or day of reckoning found in many religions. In this view, the prison bars are temporary. The walls are not meant to confine forever, but to filter, ensuring only those who evolve sufficiently gain access to the next stage. The war criminal hypothesis. One of the most dramatic interpretations of the prison planet theory is that humanity consists of cosmic war criminals. In this scenario, an advanced interstellar civilization fought a massive war, perhaps spanning multiple star systems. Those responsible for atrocities, illegal technologies, or galactic-level destruction were captured, stripped of their original forms, and reincarnated into human bodies on Earth. Ancient myths often speak of fallen angels or rebels cast down to Earth. Lucifer, in Christian tradition, is a being of light exiled for rebellion. The Titans in Greek mythology were overthrown and imprisoned. Hindu epics tell of cosmic wars between gods and demons. Could these stories be dim memories of a real interstellar conflict? In this view, Earth is essentially a cosmic penal colony, a remote outpost where war criminals live out repeated lifetimes as humans, slowly rehabilitating or serving their sentence. The barriers preventing our escape, such as limited technology, mortality, and amnesia, ensure we cannot return to our old ways until we've atoned. The cosmic treaty theory. Another explanation is political rather than punitive. Perhaps humanity is on Earth because of an interstellar treaty between powerful alien factions. Imagine a scenario where different civilizations claim rights over genetic material, planets, or consciousness itself. To prevent conflict, they agree to isolate certain species or hybrid beings. Earth could be one such neutral zone, off limits to colonization but used as a holding ground. This would explain why UFO sightings occur, but open contact does not. Aliens are bound by a non-interference agreement. They can observe but not intervene. Humanity is essentially caught between powers we cannot comprehend, our fate decided by laws written long before our species appeared. The famous Prime Directive in Star Trek echoes this concept. So do stories of galactic federations whispered in esoteric circles. The prison planet may not be a cell, but a demilitarized zone where larger powers keep us contained until the treaty ends, or we mature enough to claim our rights. The forgotten experiment. What if Earth was never meant to be a prison at all, but simply an experiment that has gone on so long its original purpose has been forgotten? Advanced civilizations might have seeded life here to test evolutionary pathways, consciousness, or social systems. Over millions of years, caretakers came and went, records were lost, and now we are left inside a self-sustaining system without knowing its origins. This would make humanity not criminals, but orphans. The walls of the prison are not punishment, but neglect. No one is actively keeping us here. We simply don't know how to leave. Myths of abandoned gods, lost golden ages, and ancient advanced civilizations like Atlantis could be cultural memories of the time when the caretakers still interacted with us. Now we are on our own, struggling in the dark. Interdimensional refugees. Another possibility is that humanity are not criminals, test subjects, or farmers, but refugees. Perhaps our homeworld was destroyed by war, cosmic disaster, or environmental collapse. A more advanced civilization took pity and relocated our ancestors here, but for security reasons, erased our memories. Earth is not a prison, but a refugee camp designed to protect us until we can rebuild. This idea resonates with myths of a lost paradise or a home beyond the stars. It also aligns with the deep, unexplained longing many humans feel for something out there, a sense of not belonging on Earth. If true, our suffering is not punishment, but the consequence of displacement. We are a species in exile, rebuilding under constraints until we can return or move on. Training for cosmic citizenship. A more optimistic explanation sees Earth as a training ground. Before a species can join the interstellar community, it must pass through a period of struggle and self-mastery. Humans are intelligent, emotional, and creative, but also violent, short-sighted, and ego-driven. These traits must be tempered before we can wield advanced technologies or interstellar travel responsibly. Earth provides the perfect environment for this training. Limited lifespans teach humility. Conflict teaches cooperation. Suffering teaches empathy. Mortality teaches the value of life. Only by mastering ourselves can we graduate from this planetary classroom. Many spiritual traditions echo this sentiment. Life is a test, a school, a journey toward enlightenment. Graduation is described as ascension, nirvana, or salvation. In this model, Earth is less a prison than a cosmic university. The memory wipe mechanism. One of the most striking features of the prison planet theory is the idea of enforced amnesia. If we are indeed exiles, test subjects, or trainees, why don't we remember our origins? Some suggest that memory erasure occurs at birth or death. The reincarnation cycle resets our consciousness, preventing escape but allowing learning. This would explain why young children sometimes speak of past lives or imaginary memories that fade with age. Ancient texts hint at this process. In Greek mythology, souls drink from the river Lethe to forget before reincarnating. Tibetan Buddhism describes the bardo, a state between lives where choices are made. Near-death experiences often involve life reviews and a sense of being sent back. If memory wiping is real, it would be the ultimate prison bar. Without knowledge of our past, we cannot organize, rebel, or escape, but it may also be a mercy, allowing us to grow without the burden of infinite regret. The technology suppression program. If humanity is in a controlled environment, it makes sense that our technological development would be limited. Too much advancement too soon could break the system. Throughout history, inventions appear and disappear mysteriously. Whole civilizations rise, develop advanced knowledge, and collapse, leaving only fragments. Some researchers argue that free energy, anti-gravity, or consciousness-based technologies have been discovered repeatedly but suppressed, either by human elites or by non-human overseers. This reset pattern ensures that humanity remains in a state of manageable progress, enough to keep us curious and industrious, but not enough to let us escape the planet or challenge our confinement. The myths of forbidden knowledge, Prometheus stealing fire, the Tower of Babel reaching the heavens, or secret Atlantean technologies, may be allegories for these cycles of suppression and reset. Signs of the exit door. If the prison planet theory is true, then there must be an exit of some kind. Even prisons have parole, laboratories have endpoints, and farms have harvest seasons. What would escape look like for humanity? Possibilities include spiritual awakening, breaking the reincarnation cycle through enlightenment. Technological breakthrough, discovering suppressed knowledge that allows interstellar travel. Moral evolution, demonstrating unity and non-violence, earning our release. Cosmic event, a predicted shift, such as a solar flash, dimensional change, or the return of the gods, ending the current experiment. Many prophecies, from the Mayan calendar to Christian revelations, speak of a great transition. Perhaps these are not doomsday predictions, but metaphors for graduation day, the moment humanity either ascends or is reset. Awakening through consciousness. If Earth is a prison, then perhaps the key to escape is not physical, but mental. Consciousness may be the true lock and key. Many spiritual traditions teach that enlightenment, or self-realization, can free the soul from suffering. In Hinduism and Buddhism, liberation, moksha or nirvana, is the end of reincarnation. In Gnostic Christianity, awakening allows the soul to bypass the Archons who guard Earth. Indigenous shamans describe journeys outside the body, traveling to other realms. These teachings may represent fragments of knowledge about the real escape routes. If the prison operates by trapping consciousness in cycles of forgetfulness, then the way out is to remember, to wake up to the truth of who we are. Meditation, altered states, near-death experiences, and mystical visions often reveal a sense of freedom from the body and the planet. Perhaps these are glimpses of the exit door, a reminder that the bars of the prison are not physical walls, but mental ones. The role of technology in liberation. While spiritual awakening may be one path, technology could provide another. Humans are naturally inventive, and some theorists suggest that our jailers underestimated our capacity to innovate. If we develop technologies such as anti-gravity, wormhole travel, or consciousness transfer, we may find ways to bypass the restrictions of Earth. Space travel could be the physical counterpart to spiritual escape. This may explain why knowledge is suppressed, why certain technologies seem to vanish, and why scientific breakthroughs often meet resistance. The system is designed to prevent us from reaching the point where escape becomes feasible. Still, history shows that knowledge cannot be suppressed forever. Fire, the wheel, printing, electricity, all were once forbidden or dangerous, yet humanity claimed them. If the prison bars are technological, then human curiosity may be the file that cuts through them. The collective awakening. Escape may not be possible on an individual level alone. A prisoner breaking out alone is one thing, an entire prison population rising up is another. The prison planet theory suggests that humanity's confinement is collective. Therefore, the release may require a critical mass of awakening. If enough humans achieve higher consciousness, evolve morally, or advance technologically, the system may collapse under its own weight. This could be what myths and prophecies refer to when they speak of a great awakening, golden age, or new heaven and earth. The idea is not that the planet itself changes, but that humanity collectively shifts into a new mode of existence, rendering the old prison obsolete. Signs of such a shift are visible: increasing interest in meditation, mindfulness, alternative spirituality, and unity movements. While conflict still dominates, the seed of change may already be sprouting. Cosmic intervention. Another possibility is that humanity will not escape on its own, but will be freed by outside forces. If Earth is a penal colony, then perhaps our sentence is nearing its end. The wardens may one day return to release us. If Earth is an experiment, perhaps the researchers will conclude their study. If Earth is a farm, perhaps harvest time is approaching. This intervention could take many forms: open contact with extraterrestrials, mass landings, sudden technological gifts, or even a cosmic disaster that resets the system. Ancient texts often describe gods returning, saviors descending, or the sky opening. These could be symbolic memories of past interventions, or prophecies of the next one. Whether this intervention would be benevolent or catastrophic is uncertain. Would the jailers release us as free beings, or recycle us into a new system, escaping the cycle of death and rebirth? Perhaps the most radical claim of the prison planet theory is that the real prison is not Earth itself, but the cycle of reincarnation. We are not trapped in bodies or on a planet. We are trapped in endless rebirths, unable to leave. If this is true, then the ultimate escape comes at death. By refusing to reincarnate, by bypassing the light or entities that guide souls back, one could finally leave the system. Mystics throughout history have hinted at this. The Tibetan Book of the Dead provides instructions for navigating death. Gnostics warned of false lights and beings who recycle souls. Shamans spoke of crossing the cosmic river without being pulled back. This suggests that the moment of death is the ultimate test. Most souls return automatically, like moths to a flame, but the awakened soul may choose otherwise. Perhaps this is the final exit door from the prison. Signs of the Great Transition. Many believe that humanity is already approaching a turning point. Prophecies across cultures speak of a coming shift. The Mayan calendar's 2012 transition, marking the end of one world cycle and the beginning of another. Christian prophecies of the apocalypse and the New Jerusalem. Hindu teachings of the Kali Yuga ending and a new Satya Yuga, Golden Age, beginning. Hopi prophecies of the emergence into the fifth world. Even outside religion, scientists warn of tipping points, climate collapse, AI revolutions, and genetic engineering that could transform civilization. Whether spiritual or technological, the world is on the verge of massive change. In the context of the prison planet theory, this may be the moment of release or of reset. Humanity will either awaken and step through the open door or fail the test and remain confined. The question of readiness. But even if the prison doors are opening, the deeper question remains: are we ready to leave? Humanity still wages wars, destroys ecosystems, and divides itself by race, religion, and wealth. If we were suddenly unleashed into the wider cosmos, would we spread these problems outward? Perhaps the prison remains not because of external jailers, but because we have not yet proven we can live responsibly without walls. Freedom without wisdom is chaos. The true purpose of the prison planet may be to ensure we grow wise enough to handle freedom. The suffering, the limits, and the mysteries are all part of that training. Until we can master ourselves, perhaps the prison remains, for our own protection and for the safety of others. Drawing the threads together. Across this exploration, we've examined the prison planet theory from every angle. Its physical evidence, its spiritual implications, its alien origins, and its possible purposes. The picture that emerges is not simple, but it is compelling. Humans are a mystery. We are not perfectly adapted to Earth. We are plagued by disease, back pain, and childbirth complications. Our bodies seem designed for another environment. Our minds are restless, our emotions turbulent, and our cultures obsessed with the stars. We sense deep down that we do not belong. Ancient myths echo this. Fallen angels, lost paradises, cosmic wars, reincarnation cycles, all hint at a larger story in which humanity is a displaced or engineered species. Whether we were prisoners, test subjects, refugees, or trainees, the result is the same. We are here, confined, struggling to understand our condition. Modern science explains much, but not everything. Our DNA contains mysteries. Our evolution seems to leap instead of crawl. Our inner lives are filled with longing for something beyond this world. The prison planet theory offers a unifying explanation, not proven, but powerful. The many faces of the prison. It's important to see that prison planet does not have to mean iron bars and alien guards. The prison could be biological. Our bodies themselves are the cages. Planetary, Earth's isolation is our confinement. Technological, our limited knowledge and suppressed innovations keep us grounded. Spiritual, the cycle of death and rebirth prevents true escape. Psychological, fear, division, and ignorance are the chains that hold us. Each of these may be true simultaneously. The prison could be multi-layered, like a fractal. Even if one barrier is broken, say we master interstellar travel, others may remain, such as the reincarnation cycle or psychological programming. This is why the prison planet theory resonates so deeply. It is not just about aliens, but about our own condition as beings seeking freedom. The purpose of the prison. Why would such a system exist? The theories we've examined offer several possibilities. Punishment. We are here to serve a sentence for past actions. Experimentation. We are here to be studied, measured, and understood. Training. We are here to learn empathy, unity, and self-mastery. Harvesting. We are here to generate energy or resources for higher beings. Protection. We are here to be shielded from cosmic forces or shield others from us. Each possibility carries different implications. If punishment, we must atone. If experiment, we must understand. If training, we must grow. If harvesting, we must resist. If protection, we must mature. It may even be that all of these are true in part, a system so vast that our minds can only glimpse fragments. The paths of escape. Throughout this journey, one theme has emerged again and again: freedom. Whether through spiritual awakening, technological innovation, moral evolution, or cosmic intervention, humanity longs to break out of its constraints. If the prison planet theory is true, then escape is not just possible but inevitable. The question is how and when. Some may awaken individually, breaking the cycle of rebirth and leaving the system. Others may push the boundaries of science, creating technologies that allow humanity to rejoin the stars. Still others may focus on collective evolution, fostering a society based on cooperation rather than conflict. Perhaps all paths converge at a single moment of transition, a great awakening or graduation day, when humanity as a whole steps through the open door. The power of remembering. At the heart of every prison is amnesia. The inmates forget who they were before. The first step toward freedom is remembering. This remembering may not be literal. We may never recall alien worlds or past lives in detail, but we can remember our potential. We can remember that we are not merely bodies or products of random chance, but beings of consciousness capable of growth. When enough humans remember this, the prison weakens. Its walls are sustained by our belief in them. As the mystic Rumi wrote, "You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life?" Are we ready? The prison planet theory raises a final, uncomfortable question. Even if the doors open tomorrow, would we walk through them? Freedom is not just the absence of walls. It is the presence of wisdom. Without inner transformation, we would carry the same conflicts, greed, and violence into the stars. The prison may exist not because of malevolent jailers, but because of our own immaturity. If this is true, then the path forward is clear. We must evolve, not just technologically, but emotionally, morally, and spiritually. We must become beings worthy of freedom. Only then will the prison dissolve, whether by our own efforts or by the hands of those who built it. The forbidden history of the future. Perhaps one day, humanity will look back on this era as a dark but necessary chapter. The time when we were confined to a single world, struggling to understand our origin. Future generations may walk freely among the stars, their memories restored, their potential realized. They will study Earth as an ancient training ground, a crucible where souls and civilizations were forged. In that future, the prison planet theory will no longer be a speculation. It will be history, forbidden no longer. Are we really home? We end where we began, with the question that has haunted humanity for millennia. Are we truly native to Earth, or are we cosmic exiles? Are we prisoners, students, refugees, or something else entirely? Is Earth a cell, a school, a farm, or a sanctuary? The prison planet theory does not give a definitive answer, but it does invite us to look deeper at our biology, our history, our myths, and our consciousness. It challenges us to consider that everything we take for granted may be part of a larger design. Whether true or not, the theory reveals a profound truth. Humanity longs for freedom. We feel deep within that we are more than what we appear to be. That longing itself may be the key, the signal that we are destined sooner or later to break free. Perhaps one day, we will stand under alien stars and remember everything. Until then, the question remains, are we really home? Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. I love hearing from you. Check out more videos on the screen, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.